Hello and welcome back to the Beardworks podcast, episode number 34. Nick, how you going, man?
Yeah, good. It's freezing here this morning. Absolutely freezing.
Oh, it was cold last night. I was at work and it wasn't cold when there was no breeze, but when the breeze came through, it was freezing. And I was wearing pants and a jumper and a long sleeve. Oh, it was absolutely freezing. But yeah, we are definitely getting into winter in our part of the world.
Thank God.
No snow, but just extremely cold temperatures. But anyways, let's talk about something that recently released, which was 6 p.m. last night on May the 4th, which is pretty ironic because obviously we're talking about Star Wars, and that is one of the biggest sayings around the world. May the 4th be with you. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah, The Bad Batch released on Disney Plus last night at 6 p.m. You got to watch it a bit early before me. I finished it just after midnight. So, yeah, first thoughts on your opinion so far, I guess?
Oh, dude, it's unreal. The animations, legitness, and like, there's no messing around. It's like the episode starts and you're straight into the action.
Yeah, it takes off straight away from when obviously bad stuff happens in season 7 of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, like the first scene is literally Order 66.
Yeah, it's pretty because we get to see obviously Caleb June, which eventually becomes Kanan Jarrus, which is kind of cool because it shows how we talked about him how he lost his master in Rebels. Um, so yeah, it's kind of cool to see how that happened and how that eventuated and the little interaction between him and the Bad Batch. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to ever run into each other. I wonder if he's going to remember that Hunter let him go.
Well, that's the thing. So obviously, Crosshair is sort of obviously people that have not seen Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I mean, go watch it because it's a little masterpiece, especially from like season 5 onwards. The Bad Batch are obviously you know, what can I say? What are they? What are they? They what's the word for
They're
it?
like a squad of clone troopers that like all had genetic like
Malfunctions sort of
mistakes.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so they've all
So
got
like they're all super soldiers pretty well, but in their own right,
different
different
abilities.
ways.
So like there's a group of them. Obviously, there's 5 of them at this stage. No, sorry, 4. Wait, no, there is 5, not including Echo because Echo's not included. He's just unfortunately half robot
Yeah.
now. But obviously you got Wrecker, who's just like technically the wrecking ball, like the brute force of the group. You got Hunter, who's got the heightened instincts and like hunting abilities, I guess. Also the leader. You got Tech, and he's like the tech guy. Obviously,
Brainiac.
he's pretty smart. Then you got Crosshair, who's got like the abnormal aiming, obviously, hence his name. So it's got a good mix there. We see that in season 7 of the Clone Wars. There's like 3 episodes dedicated to them. So we obviously had rough idea what they were going to be like going into this, and it just works so well. Really, they're some of the best characters in the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah, dude. Wrecker is definitely my favorite. Just the dumb tank character.
Yeah,
Always wants to fight. Got his teddy behind him.
yeah, and that's where it sort of kicks off. Is that they're just like a wrecking ball, technically the whole team just coming through and wiping out like a droid army, mini droid army, I should say, because the Jedi and the clone troopers are in trouble, and they just knock them over like they're nothing. And then obviously that's when Order 66 comes through, and you think, okay, well, straight away the clone troopers start attacking their Jedi general, whereas the Bad Batch are sitting there looking like, what are they doing? Like, so straight away from the get go they're not affected by the inhibitor chip. So
Yeah, because their malfunctions have affected their programming. So that like their orders didn't kick off, except Crosshair, which we find out his inhibitor chip or his like order chip is still active.
at a certain extent, because he's saying the same thing that they all say: good soldiers follow orders, but he's not like he's still listening to Hunter a fair bit as well. In saying that he does
Yeah.
try to kill Caleb June, and then that sort of has a little battle, and you think that Crosshair might be knocked off in the first episode, but then he obviously gets kicked away by Caleb and then runs away, and Hunter's trying to plead to him that we'll help you, don't run away, and then he sort of says that he fakes his death, sort of, I guess, Hunter, and then Crosshair, yeah. So obviously that's just the beginning of the whole episode, and that's just a really good way to start and introduce the characters again.
Yeah, and yeah. Speaking of Crosshair, you get that little like information when they're in that jail cell with Omega,
Yep.
and they're like, she's like, "I know it's not your fault. You don't want to do this."
Yeah.
It's like what but they said that in the Clone War as well. None of the clones wanted to do Order 66, but they literally couldn't not do it.
Yeah. so that's what we find out throughout this episode. It's sort of the downfall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. It has Palpatine talking over them. I think it's exactly the same speech that he said during Revenge of the Sith to the
Yeah,
Senate.
it's just the audio from that.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool because, like, obviously they tried to tie in as much as they could from the film into this animated shows with different parts. The one thing I couldn't understand is how they sort of said, "Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi's." Oh, in saying that, I guess that happened straight away because, like, they're saying he's engaged General Grievous, and all of a sudden, a couple of seconds later, it's like Order 66. It's like, wow, that happened so quick. But then you think, Obi-Wan killed Grievous, and then literally a couple minutes later, he gets attacked by Cody. So
Yeah, a lot of those scenes in Revenge of the Sith are happening at the same time. It's just you can't really watch two scenes at once. So
no, so
yeah,
yeah, no, that was an awesome start. And then throughout the episode, you find out, yeah, like I said, there's the fall of the Republic, rise of the Empire, and the clone troopers acting a bit off. And then that little cafeteria scene was pretty awesome when they just get into a massive brawl.
yeah, I like that Kid Omega.
Yeah. Well, so is that a female? They haven't really. I mean,
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
It sounds female, but I think it's male.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it'd be interesting if it was a female clone of, because that's what she is or he is, or
I think it might just be a bit feminine because it was raised with the Camino people.
yeah.
Like it might be a little bit
I mean,
strange. I don't
we
know.
will find out in later episodes. It's just a bit confusing at the moment because I definitely feel like, with the name Omega, it sort of feels like it is a female, but it's a bit hard to tell at the moment. So, but yeah, obviously that's what we get to find out is that there are 5 defected clones, and they thought at the time that because Tarkin's there, which obviously is a good throwback to the original series and obviously the
Yeah,
movies in the future as well. He's sort of like putting them through their paces and seeing if they're going to be a good fit for the Empire. And yeah, that's kind of cool when they're fighting the training droids, but it turns out they turn on live fire and it's all out guns blazing, and they have only got training weapons and they have to sort of think their way through it, which is really awesome too.
and that's where you see Crosshair's actual sharpshooting skills when he shoots the knife out of midair into that robot's
Yeah,
head.
that's sick. Like, it's just crazy to think that normal clone troopers get picked off so easily, but only these guys are enhanced and and defective in their own ways and stuff like that. But yeah, they
But they'd all be shit separated. They
yeah,
are as good as a team, I reckon.
yeah, they're only as good as each other as a unit. So I definitely get that. And so yeah, we sort of learn bits and pieces throughout, and then they get sent on a mission by Tarkin to, I guess, to test their loyalty, I guess. Um,
Yep.
which is when we get to see a recurring character with Saw Gerrera, which is kind of cool.
He looks like a full Backstreet Boy in this though. In Clone Wars, he looked like a young Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah,
In Rogue One, he's Forrest Whitaker, but this he's just like jacked, short hair, eyebrow slit.
yeah. Now, I think he's just slowly making his transition to that age, and then before he
I
goes,
wonder if we're going to see him get injured, so he needs that breathing suit.
yeah, I don't know, possibly. I because obviously I think the Bad Batch is going to be bridging more of episode like from the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith into the New Hope kind of thing. Obviously,
Yep.
we know that we're going to see Captain Rex eventually, which is awesome.
Yeah, he's the best.
And so we might see some other people. I don't know if we'll see Ahsoka. Oh man, I don't know if she's already in hiding. Maybe Rex might talk about. We just don't know. So that's some cool, like some really cool stuff coming up. But yes, obviously they don't kill Sol Guerrero and his insurgents because they've been told that they were the bad guys technically.
Yeah, separatists like fighters or whatever.
Yeah, so they were expecting droids. That's not the case, and so yeah, they sort of let them go. And the whole time Tarkin's watching. So Crosshair's like, we're not following orders, and then Hunter's like, this is what we do. We don't follow orders. So it's good to see that they have like that, because they could have just easily just said, you know what, we'll just do what the Empire wants us to do because we love to destroy stuff and kill things. But it's good that they have morals, especially like to the Jedi. So even though they were never
Oh
really
yeah,
involved,
they love the Jedi.
like the only time they were really involved is in those episodes in the Clone Wars when they were with Anakin and Rex and Cody. Like that,
But then you see, they've obviously been on hundreds of missions because, like, they say they've been like 111 successful missions or
yeah.
something. So they must have been in contact with Jedi that whole time.
Yeah, but it just shows that like they don't need a Jedi to lead them,
No.
but they show respect and they still follow their lead, to a certain
Yeah.
extent. So it shows that yeah they have good morals and stuff like that. So we understand where this story is going to go in regards to them in particular. So now we sort of move on towards the back end of the episode where they get captured trying to save Omega because they work out that Omega is that fifth defective clone. So which we knew
Yeah.
from the
Well,
start.
maybe that's one of the things. She's like a female. That's one of the defects because the clones they only wanted males for the army.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
So
work out,
they,
that maybe she
yeah,
was
I
a
don't know.
female clone. But
But didn't they say she has like hyper perception or something?
yeah, like there is something different about her. But I think she's just super smart too. Like I think she might be like not so much a perfect clone as such. Like obviously she probably doesn't have record strength, but she obviously knows how to use a blaster as well because we see that later on in the episode. So
Yeah, first time and she's like Deadeye.
um and so obviously we get back to Camino, they get captured trying to work out, and then Crosshair gets taken away while the rest of them get kept in this, it's not so much prison cell, that's what they talk about, but it's like a holding cell. um and they just literally enhance his prohibited chip to like max,
Yep, and then paint his armor fully black, and then he goes after his own squad.
Yeah, which is, it's like not the first trope that this is like in a show or movie or whatever has happened, but it's different. I feel like in Star Wars, because obviously he is part of the Bad Batch, so it's going to be interesting now that they're getting hunted down by him. Why they're trying to work out what they're going to do and find their place in the universe. And I think eventually they're going to turn him back over. Like they'll take the chip out. Like they'll talk to Rex. Rex will say, "Oh, this is what we need to do." Um. So yeah, that'll be really interesting. Let's see what happens.
Because I definitely like having the sniper on the team. He's a good addition. They need that skill.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it doesn't work because like you see in that training scene, like he was the one that kicked off that attack because he climbed
And
up the tower.
he's Overwatch for the entire crew.
Yeah, and so it shows that he is a massive importance of that team. So they will need him at some stage again. They'll probably lose. They might lose a few battles, in this how many episodes it will go for. Um,
I reckon they're going to run into Rex, and Rex is going to they're going to say they lost their friend, and he's going to you can get him
well,
back.
that's the thing.
We got to get the
Obviously,
chip out of his head.
Rex knows who they are because he fought with them in season 7. So
Yeah.
they'll be like, yeah, now Crosshair's chasing us. They go, something changed. He goes, oh, that's probably the prohibited chip. He goes, I've taken it out. And I'm wondering if the Bad Batch is going to lead us to show how he saved Gregor and Wolf.
No idea.
Because obviously in Rebels, we see them all together as old blokes.
They're so cool when they're old.
Yeah, they're just all a bunch of laughs,
They look like fishermen.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, old fishermen. But I'd really like to see, because Wolf was obviously a hard ass, like bad. I should say badass, really. In the Clone Wars, he was kind of cool. So it'd be interesting to see how they saved him and Gregor, because at this stage, I feel like Gregor was the what was he, what trooper was he? He was stuck on that planet, wasn't he?
No idea.
I forget what he was called, but anyways, shock trooper, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
Stuck with the robots, those droids. That droid episode.
Do you reckon that's who they're going at the end of the episode? But they go, "Oh, we got a friend on this planet. Let's go."
Maybe, because I don't know. They probably don't know where Rex is at the moment, so they could go to Gregor. I have no idea, but
Unless they've got a Jedi friend that we just haven't met yet.
yeah, all we know is that like the world is their oyster at this stage, because they've obviously Dave Filoni's handling this again, and he just is the chosen one, literally, when it comes to
He
Star
knows
Wars.
what to do.
So
He knows Star Wars.
yeah, exactly. So he's gonna take it off, and I wonder. I don't know how many. I'm not sure if it's been announced how many episodes there are. If there'll be more than more than one season. Tongue tied then. So, but obviously, great start. Like and let's straight off, the animation we spoke about was awesome. And it's probably upped since season 7 as well with the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, just the lightsaber fight at the very start with that, like Kanan's master with the clones. That lightsaber looked wild against the snow and stuff.
Yeah, I think they've got it really. They've got um their art style, which they've eventually perfected in season 7, and then they've just like more shading, like just and made the world so much more vibrant, I think.
It's like you can almost see the updates that like Maya and Blender had as the series went on.
Yeah,
Because like the 3D just got better and better. I don't know if those are programs they're using, but it's like you can just see when updates were coming in.
yeah. Nah, I think it's awesome so far from what we've seen. And I can't wait to see more, because I do think the characters are very compelling. I really like Hunter.
Yeah,
And
it looks like Rambo.
yeah, exactly. He's pretty much like the Rainbow in that universe. But I also like you said, Wrecker's just a funny goofball that's just overpowered, like when it comes to brute strength. And I do like Echo.
They're like a Destiny Fire team. They all have a role to play, and they're all interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think Echo has as much of a role, because obviously he joined at the end of not the end of season 7, but that little few episodes when they saved him, which was kind of cool, because obviously Echo was an ARC trooper in the Clone Wars series, and he was cool until he eventually apparently died. Obviously didn't. so it's good to see because he's probably like he's just a normal trooper that became an arc
He's
trooper.
just a bit of a Frankenstein
Yeah, a
now.
bit of a Frankenstein. So he's still like I just like it's just a bit of a callback to the old arc troopers and the old the old guys from the Clone Wars. So
But he's got like the robot hand and like the back of his head, so he might be able to hack and stuff. We don't know
well, I
yet.
think he
We haven't
can.
really seen
I
him.
think the whole thing is he can hack doors and stuff like that. But I think that later on in the season he might get like a robotic hand. So but we'll wait and see. Obviously, he's just a standard dark trooper with a bit more knowledge, I guess, of the separatists, which doesn't really matter
He
now.
definitely looks the worst.
Oh yeah,
He looks like Frankenstein. Like he's literally fully pale, bolts on his head,
looks like a zombie.
bits of metal on him. Yeah.
But yeah, so first off, Bad Batch is awesome, and I can't wait to see next week's episode.
I liked the first episode of Bad Batch more than the entirety of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I think that well, it's a bit hard because I think we're so much of a Star Wars nuts. So, but I do agree that there's a bit more investment in the Bad Batch and the lore behind it. The build up has been amazing compared to Falcon and Winter Soldier, I guess. But no, I think Disney's on the right track. We've spoken about it a little while now. They're making some really good shows, and there's still more to come out. And that's where we're sort of segue into it now. They've sort of had their release of their slate of movies over the next probably what was it 2023 was the latest, which was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So
Yeah, it's a pretty stacked list. It was pretty big.
the thing is though, like, is there any movies on that? Like, there are movies on there that we're keen for, but it's just not as good as the list could be as it used to be, I should say.
Yeah, I get Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange are probably the top two for me.
Oh, for sure. Like, they're the big hitters, and obviously Guardians at the end of in May 2023, which is so far away. So like, I just can't imagine where we're going to be at that stage because obviously Thor comes out next year, and so but Thor will be with the Guardians at that time, as far as we know.
That we don't know what Guardians 3 is going to be about until we see Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, so obviously that's going to build into that, and then obviously at the very very end, which we'll get to that at last, I guess. But let's just go through. Not I haven't got the whole list in front of me. I can get it up, but I know the ones I'm keen for. Obviously, we've got Black Widow coming out in July this year, so that's been delayed like by a year and a half. So just because there was no theaters open, which is a bit selfish, I think, on behalf of Marvel. I know they put
It should have just been a Disney Plus, like pay the $6
yeah.
extra to watch it one off, like whatever. We all would have paid.
That's the thing. I would have paid to watch it on Disney Plus, and I understand the whole reasoning behind it. And they probably wanted to give Scarlett her time to shine, but like we're in a pandemic. Like Australia, we're not so much, but around the world they are. It's not really. I just don't know. I can't.
And it would have made so much money.
Yeah,
Even if the cinemas were open, people would have still preferred to stay home and watch it. I don't want to go to some COVID-infested cinema. I'd rather just watch it in my room.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, and you have more individual people buying it. Then, like obviously, you have. I guess that doesn't really count when you have a bunch of people paying for the same ticket, but. And I guess you could just pay for one and then have 4 people watching it at home. So that's null and void, really. But yeah. So, anyways, Black Widow comes out in July. So I'm actually pretty keen to see that, only because I don't mind like the sort of, what's the Russian guy called?
Like Captain Soviet or
Yeah,
whatever.
the Soviet guy. I think he's gonna be awesome. To watch him.
Yeah. I think Black Widow is going to be a good, fun action movie, but it's going to have zero consequences for anything.
Well, I saw that
It's a one-off.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. She's already gone, but I think it will just set up for maybe her replacement, maybe. But in saying that, like I did see that Tony Stark will be in it as well. So like Rob Downey Jr. apparently is being cast. He might have a minor role.
Yep.
So that'll be kind of cool. And then actually I'm just gonna get the list up. It's gonna be 10 times easier. So obviously,
Why do that? We got Shang-Chi trailer. That was pretty good.
yes. Yeah, martial arts, awesome. Like I actually think it's amazing. Like as in, I'm hoping it's just a good martial arts movie. You know.
I'm hoping we see him do some crazy shit because, like, if you've read anything about Shang-Chi, he doesn't really have any powers. What he has is because he's trained for it and like mastered chi and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
So I wonder what that's actually going to look like in reality. Is he just going to be like shitty Danny Rand from like
Oh, he was.
the Defenders with no Iron
How
Fist?
bad
Or,
was that? Like he should have been so much better.
oh, in the comics, Iron Fist is meant to be like the best martial artist in Marvel. Nothing should ever touch him. He's getting beaten up in the streets by goons,
Yeah.
and he sooks the whole time.
Oh,
He's literally fought a dragon before any of the Defenders in the Iron Fist show happened, and look how useless he is.
yeah, exactly. I didn't understand it. It just, yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on that anymore because obviously we've seen so much cool stuff from the Defenders, as in not from the Defenders in general, but like obviously
That
that
crew.
crew. Like you need Daredevil, like Daredevil. Yeah. Anyways,
Daredevil was a wicked show. Jessica Jones was good. Luke Cage I never liked. Iron Fist I didn't like.
nah, I'm just hoping Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil,
Punisher was good.
Punisher, and Daredevil seasons 1, 2, and 3 were so good. Just the combat.
Oh, that scene in Daredevil season 2 with the Punishers in the jail, and he just like fights a whole
We
riot.
just see him like just murdering people, literally.
That was literally like it came off the comic book page as well.
Yeah.
That was super accurate, man. That was unreal.
So yeah, we got in September we got Shang-Chi, which like we just obviously quickly spoke about, which we're keen for. And then we got Eternals in November, which was we thought that the Eternals would be around here somewhere, but I'm actually really keen for that because it looks interesting for one. And it just they're pretty powerful characters, the Eternals. So I'm just trying to work out why they sat on the sidelines for so long.
Yeah, I don't know because they're like the oldest characters. They're like I'm just googling them. They're like 35,000 years old. So I wonder if like Thor or Odin has ever run into them before because they're thousands of years old as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out like if they because this is the thing what happens when you have powerful characters that just come out of the blue after like the big wars. You know what I mean? It's like, well, where were you when we needed you? But maybe they were maybe that it was for a reason that they don't intervene like stuff like that. So I don't know.
No idea,
But then
mate.
obviously we got Spider-Man No Way Home in December. So then I reckon that's going to set up the Doctor Strange part because obviously, I think Doctor Strange after this last time, Doctor Strange was meant to come out before Spider Man, but then something happened and they got pushed back another way. So I feel like Spider Man No Way Home might open up maybe a bit of the multiverse or something like that. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping that's sort of like when we get to see the three Spider Mans on the screen at once. I know it's just a massive fan thing, but like surely they could do it. Like an old man Toby Spider Man and Andrew Garfield, like just like in his 30s, and then like a young, the young buck in the latest one. So
Movies love baiting and switching things, so like we'll never know what's happening until it's out.
yeah, exactly. So that's in December, and then we got Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, which we're both super keen for. That comes out on the March 25th. So
Yeah, that'll be a gold class session for sure.
So that's obviously going to open up the multiverse because it's got the name in it. So, and then we got Thor: Love and Thunder May 6th.
That's gonna be the big
So
one.
that's going to be the big hitter. That's going to get everyone to the theaters. Obviously, Doctor Strange will be as well because that brings in Scarlet Witch again. But yeah, obviously everyone loves Chris Hemsworth and Thor because he's more of a comedic relief himself now, which is really good.
Well, he maybe has the best MCU movie.
Yeah.
Ragnarok's probably the
Oh,
best.
100%. Ragnarok is such a top tier film because it's funny, the action scenes are good, and it drives the story like it more than most. As in, it's still an isolated story to the point, and then obviously they get attacked by Thanos at the end. So, um,
Yep.
but yeah, and then we sort of have one that we're not so sure about, which is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Um,
Oh, it'll probably be an alright movie, but it is the shittest title I've ever
I
read.
don't know.
So predictable and just like you could have chose anything else.
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, why Wakanda Forever? Like that doesn't really drive the story. Like as in, it might by then, but titles are meant to push. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess when you look at Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, there's no other title. So
Because they didn't need it.
yeah, but
Like imagine if it was like Iron Man 2 Whiplash. Like that sounds shit.
yeah, so and we don't know what's going to happen with the Black Panther character. Like, there's still massive like doubts over what's going to happen and what direction they're going to go in because they're not going to recast Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther with somebody else. They've already said that.
They can't make any more Black Panthers because Killmonger torched all the Black Panther
Yeah, and
flowers.
that's the thing. They created this story to make. Obviously, created the first film to make it that this is the Black Panther. This is it. Like, there is no other Black Panther other than Chadwick Boseman. So now, what's going to happen? Like, Killmonger's dead unless somehow they just. I hope they don't because, like, obviously Killmonger was an
I
interesting character. I don't think.
don't want Killmonger back.
Yeah,
He was
he
shit.
wasn't a good villain, but he could be a good hero. But that sort of defeats the whole purpose of Black Panther. So
He's never going to be a hero though. He's going to always be bitter. He's like a murderer. See all the scars?
yeah, so we have no idea what they're going to do, but they have some kind of plan, obviously. But I do feel like, obviously, we spoke about that in one of our later episodes about, we thought that maybe the Black Panther was going to be the next leader of the Avengers. Obviously,
Yeah, no idea.
it's not going to happen now. I think that's the path they're going down because we spoke about Doctor Strange not being connected to that group as much. And, now Falcon, who's the Captain America, is not sort of like the perfect leader type. So, anyways, and then November 11th, 2022, we have the Marvels, which I haven't even seen Captain Marvel, so I'm not really keen for.
Yeah, it's going to be Captain Marvel. It'll be Miss Marvel, which is like Camilla Khan, the stretchy one from the game.
Yeah.
We've already had set photos of her. She's like a young, like Middle Eastern looking kind of chick,
Hmm.
and it's probably going to be the black chick from One Division.
Yeah, that's it. Um,
But like, it's not going to. I don't think it's going to be that interesting. It's going to be another girl power movie.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like Captain Marvel that much. I don't like Brie Larson in general, and that's just I don't know. Anyways, that's the way I feel about it. So, we'll talk about. Then we got Feb 17th, 2023. It's so far away. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So
That could be interesting. Ant-Man's are like usually throwaway kind of movies, but they're always
Paul Rudd's a
they're
good
always
actor.
fun.
I enjoy his. I'll enjoy when he's on screen. I enjoy it. Like I think he's funny. I think he sort of doesn't always steal the scene, but yeah. So him as a superhero is obviously pretty cool, and I like their dynamic between the two of them. So I'm keen for that. See how that goes. And then finally it rounds off with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on May 5th, 2023. So a long way away, but I definitely think that we'll see them in Thor. So
This is all going to be like back to phase one. This is all going to be setting up the next big villain.
yeah,
All these post-credit scenes are all going to be like drip feeding us, like how they did with Thanos, which got a little tidbit for like 10 years.
yeah. I mean, I just don't know how. I don't know. I don't know what the next. Like I said, I've said plenty of times now over the last few months, ever since Endgame and stuff like that. I just don't know how long can you keep making superhero movies for. Like, when's the end?
Well, comics, we haven't even scratched the surface on the comics, so I don't know when it's going to end. If as long as it's still spitting money, they're going to keep making it.
That's what I mean. Like, because there's a difference between making like the one-off films or the one-off trilogy or something like that. Sort of like how they did with the Dark Knight trilogy. There's an isolated thing. They didn't try to expand it too much. That was it. Obviously, Marvel had this massive grand scheme of in place, and they've done it and they've executed it very well. But like, you feel like Endgame was like an end of an era, and it was meant to be. But then like some characters only came in late and they were really good characters, so we want to see more of them. So like Doctor Strange would have been lovely to be introduced earlier in the actual like lineups, if you know what I mean, rather than just having one
Yeah,
film.
I was disappointed we didn't see Blade's name come up in that anywhere.
Well, yeah, what's going on with that? Has that just been like delayed, or because
I know because Mahershala Ali was announced at that Marvel whatever it was press conference or whatever, and he put the hat on. That was years ago now, a couple of years ago.
yeah, so
I don't know.
yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So that's why I keep reiterating is like, how long do they keep doing this, and then like it stops, and then they do a reboot in like 10 years time, and it starts all over again, because that's what happens in Hollywood. They reboot things or do remakes just because they know it was successful once, they can do it again, which is not always the case.
And do you reckon the Phase 4 logo was
one
Fantastic
Hundred
Four?
percent. That was Fan Four.
Yeah,
That's
it's
Fan
pretty
Four six.
obvious.
Because that's what I was going to say. Is like obviously at the very end they tease Fantastic Four. So, but that's
But then they like cover their own tracks by saying it's Phase 4, but like none of the other phases have had anything like
that's
that.
100% Fantastic Four logo. Like, but this is the thing though. Like they've obviously there's no one announced as any of the characters yet, and they've already know that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out in 2023. So when's Fantastic Four coming out? Is that like 2024, 2025? Because that
I think Fantastic Four is a cursed
oh
heroes. They're never going to carry their own movie. It's like the Hulk. They're awesome with other people,
yeah,
but
it's hard to.
they're not awesome by
The
themselves.
thing is, yeah, they just can't get the right crew together. I think if they got John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, like which have seen, concepts of them, I reckon it'd be really cool because I think John Krasinski is a great actor, and obviously having his wife on board make it easier for their schedule, maybe, so they could really put more effort into it. But yeah, I just don't understand. It just sort of confuses me that they would leave Fantastic Four right to the end just for a teaser. Not even a teaser because they didn't even announce anything. It was just sitting there, the logo. Um, and that's still 2.5 years away. So,
Yeah, I don't
because
know.
then that means all of a sudden you've got the Fantastic Four might introduce. Well, Doctor Doom is a big enemy. Um, he just,
Oh, Doctor Doom, he's like Magneto level. He's like Thanos level. He's big dog.
but that's the thing. Like you can't build him up in one movie. So like, do they
Because that's the thing that always fails with Fantastic Four is rushed.
exactly? So do they throughout these next movies? Like you can't say Doctor Strange, you can't say Thor, but maybe Black Panther. You might see a bit of something to do with Doctor Strange. I don't know, like because it's about technology. Um,
Yeah.
And then your Ant-Man and the Wasp, it could be something in there. I just don't know. And then you got Guardians of the Galaxy. That I wouldn't make any sense to see him in that. Even
I don't think we need an origin story. I think we need like what they did with Spider-Man: Homecoming. Just assume knowledge. Like we know they got in the space accident, they got the powers. Yep, yep, yep. Okay.
and so yeah,
I don't think we need the
and so
origin
just jump straight into like a Fantastic Four movie without.
because we don't need to hear Uncle Ben again. We don't need to hear Fantastic Four again. We don't need we don't need to see these origins that we've grown up with.
Yeah, there might be something in the Multiverse of Madness where like there's like a crossover, something like that, and they get affected by something, and you.
Imagine they got the original ones back, and that's how Chris Evans comes back to the MCU. Can you imagine? That would be the worst.
Oh, but anyways, so there's a massive list there of. But the thing is, the list is just not as good as it used to be, unfortunately. And we knew that eventually they would have to move on from these characters, which they have now from Endgame. And there's going to be other guys who have to carry the torch. But well,
I hope Thor doesn't go. I hope we don't get replaced with Jane Foster.
that's the thing. I don't think Chris Hemsworth seems like he's pretty stuck in that role. Like he's done his he's got enough money now where he's done his own movie with Extraction, and I think there's gonna be an Extraction too, so he can go off and enjoy his stuff.
That's a sick movie.
He's living in Australia, so they literally filmed Love and Thunder like bits and pieces in Australia. So like he's got it pretty good at the moment. So and I think they're just going to try and make him happy as hell to keep going as Thor, and I think he might be done in the Avengers 4. You know what I mean? Like because he's obviously the most powerful Avenger. Oh well, Captain Marvel apparently is.
Oh yeah. If Thor put Stormbreaker on her lap, she'd have to sit there until she starved to death. She'd never be able to get up.
So yeah, massive moves from Marvel, obviously, and Disney in general are just killing it at the moment. Obviously, we just spoke about the Bad Batch, so and then we've got the Kenobi series, and Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. Like Disney are just pumping them out.
Making lots of money.
Oh, they're making so much money. So, but I mean, we're lucky enough that we can enjoy it. So. But yeah, so anyways, that wraps up today's episode. Obviously, Resi, is that out Friday or Thursday?
Yep,
Friday.
Friday.
Yep. So Resident Evil Village comes out Friday. We probably we'll do a quick chat on it. Our first impressions probably next week. I'll play the first bit of it because I am playing Returnal at the moment, which I'm really enjoying. The combat's really fun. I will be watching Mortal Kombat sometime soon, so we'll do a review on that. We need to talk about the Snyder Cut. Eventually, when you watch the Demon Slayer movie, we can talk about that. So we've got lots of stuff to talk about coming up. So just stick it. You know, we've obviously been a bit bits and pieces, and we spoke about this in the last episode, how we haven't produced episodes every week. And
we probably can't promise that they're going to be consistent every week.
Nah, it's just a bit busy period at the moment. Obviously, we started it last year in June or July, which is when stuff started to slow down for both of us. So it will get back to normal eventually. But we could even do, if we wanted to, you know, double episode drop once here and there, because there isn't enough content at the moment. So we should find the time to edit the little editing we do.
Just saw as I'm on my phone scrolling as you're wrapping up, IGN gave Bad Batch an 8.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a fair.
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up today's episode, guys. So any more words, Nick?
No, I'm just as I said, I'm on my phone as you're wrapping up, and there's a video here. A 5-year-old beat Bloodborne.
That's lies. Impossible.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I don't know. Kids are pretty crazy these days. They're very
unless it's Omega in real life from Bad Batch and it's like a superhuman. But there you go.
Yeah, no. I don't believe that. I struggle with Bloodborne. Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that right now.
I've been playing it the last few nights, just when they're talking shit on party chat. It's not as hard as I remember. I did Cleric Beast first shot. I did the werewolf at the start when you have no weapon.
But I think that's when you. But it's probably like I guess you don't exactly know the attack patterns all still, but you know what I mean.
I died to Father Gascoigne my first run. I haven't been back to him, but the first time I played Bloodborne, I did him my first shot. So
yeah,
maybe I'm going backwards. Who knows?
Yeah, nah. Anyways, that's a bit. Yeah, wraps it up. I think just do the usual we ask. You know, if you could, follow us on our socials. We're not very active at the moment. We're just so busy. So, but please stick by us. You know, we're doing the best we can at the moment with life. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, take care.
Peace out.